Welcome, Climate Viewers. This is Jim Lee from ClimateViewer News at ClimateViewer.com. And wouldn't you know it, once again, the funky fact checkers are out there freaking around with social media posts, and it's time to remind them, this just in, you're an idiot. We're going to talk about hurricane control, and we're going to kind of set the record straight because apparently it's not what they fact check, it's what they leave out of the fact check, which always seems to be the case. So we're going to dive into two separate fact checks of claims made about Hurricane Hilary. Towards the end of the show, we'll probably get into the hurricane forming off the coast of Florida. And all along the while, we're going to laugh, point, and say, you're a dumbass to the fact checkers. If this is your first time watching this, if you're watching on BitChute, Rumble Odyssey, or somebody just downloaded my video, put it somewhere else, and you don't know where it came from, you can find me at ClimateViewer on YouTube, and go to ClimateViewer.com for all of my research, as well as to get to ClimateViewer.org, where you can check out all of my maps. And finally, if you like this video, if you like what I've been doing for the past 15 plus years, please support the channel by donating connect.climateviewer.com. And if you go there, what you will see right now is that I am doing a give, send, go currently because, bruh, my teeth is jacked up. Okay? So if you'd like to help out, I have givesendgo.com/Jim Lee. Can y'all hear the thunder in the background? We were a little bit late today because it's raining cats and dogs and hand grenades right now and big thunderstorm. But do not fear, even if the lights go out, this show will continue because bruh got battery backups. Anyway, I was just recently featured on why is computer act stupid? Computer, why is you act stupid? All right, behave. Okay, it just wants to do that. All right, well, we're just gonna leave it the way it is. I was just on the Parabnormal, Into the Parabnormal with Jeremy Scott. Links in the details if you guys want to check it out. I'm gonna drop them in the live chat as well. Great interview. It was on terrestrial radio, so that went out all over the US of A. And then and that was on the 23rd, and then on the 25th I was on the Tinfoil Hat podcast with Sam Tripoli. And I was there with a guest named Topher Gardner. And if you guys haven't heard of this guy, Bio Charisma, check him out. Probably the best damn interview I've ever done. It was absolutely phenomenal. So right now it's just out on podcast. The video should be out in a day or three. When it is, of course, I'll share that as well. But interestingly enough, Freeman basically put, this one back up from freemantv.com, the weather weapons with Jim Lee. Now, I did this interview a while ago, but for some reason, I guess he saw that I was on Sam Tripoli because my Twitter's blowed up with this. Oh yeah, I forgot to drop that link in chat. So that's the Apple podcast, and here is the freemantv.com interview. And now let's get into the video because that's enough self-promotion, I guess. But hey, when you go on when I'm down with OPP, when I'm down with other people's podcasts, I like to support them. The messenger asked, who is Mike Morales? Mike Morales is a good friend of mine. He passed away recently. He was also very committed to talking about geoengineering, weather modification, with a penchant for ship tracks. And he did the 16-day weather report. Above Ground World News. Still available on YouTube. Check him out. Love you, brother. But yeah. That's the Mike Morales that's the chat's talking about. Anyway, let's get over here to this and let's do this thing. So, experts say technology capable of creating hurricanes doesn't exist. Interesting, because if you actually look at not only the title of the video up here, you look at the URL of the video of this article, it says video misleadingly links Hilary and geoengineering fact check. So even the fact checkers went and renamed their title because they're so full of crap, they have to like constantly spin. This is on USA Today by Hannah Hudnall. After this video, I'd love for everybody to reach out to her. I'm pretty sure it's easy to find her. There's her Twitter. Go say, what's up? You know, Jim and the climate viewers say, what's up? Here's what you did wrong. So let's move on. And go away with your tacky video. So what do they say? An August 18th Instagram video. Well, let's go. Let's just go ahead and see what they got. Direct link. Let's see if it's there. Oh no, Hurricane Hilary. Go away. So this video has 11,000 likes. I guess that the threshold's getting a little higher because in previous videos where I've debunked the fact checkers, we literally saw a social media post that had only like 300 likes. But as you can see here, he's bringing up a lot of things, hurricane modification patents. Well, let's let it play. Hold on. Apparently, my audio's going through my speakers, and that is another fail. Jimbo, you are failing. Major fails. Left, right, center.
Specific customer needs. Then we go to the geoengineering monitor map.org, and we see that there's this
good website
geoengineering map that shows all the weather programs taking place prepared by this foundation. And then we go to the website,
group.
See all the 1,700 projects going on across the planet. As it loads, we see that this one, weather modification, comes up right in this general vicinity. And when we click that one, increased precipitation, then I found this document called the Weather Modification Act of 1976.
Bro's not been to my website.
Is the climate changing, or is somebody changing the climate?
So obviously, fact checkers be like, get on that, attack it, burn it with fire. Okay, so now we know who we're talking about. Shows a man speaking about Hurricane Hilary in front of a weather forecast map. Is our weather being modified, or is it climate change, the man asked. He references patents for hurricane control. Why do they have two links here? What are you guys up to? Yeah, I know that one. Okay, patent for hurricane control, method for controlling hurricanes. This is dated 2009. Worldwide application. That's way too recent. That's way too recent. We can go way further back than that. But good on you. All right, close those out. Patents. A website called Weather Modification Incorporated. We've all seen that. You know, I've talked about this 100 times. Yes, we know who Weather Modification Inc. is. A map on a website called the Geoengineering Monitor. If you guys haven't been to, and I've mentioned this 100 times, map.geoengineeringmonitor.org is run by the ETC group. It is phenomenal. It is very accurate, and it has all of the current geoengineering projects that are underway. Period. And in fact, the group that did this, ETC group, is the only group who's ever stopped not one, but two at geoengineering programs. In, I'll say like 2008, no, 2010, they stopped in the United Kingdom what was called the SPICE project, or Stratospheric Particle Injection for Climate Engineering project. And just as late as 2019, when David Keith, using Bill Gates' money backed by Harvard Solar Geoengineering program, tried to launch his balloon from Sweden, the ETC group, the same people who made this map, shut that down by contacting the people from the rocket range and saying, no, how about no? So I support the ETC group's work. I support geoengineeringmonitor.org, and I think you should too. But good on him for pointing that out. Back to what dude say. All right. So he shows the Geoengineering Monitor and the National Weather Modification Policy Act of 1976 to back up his point. Numerous commenters below the post agree with his implication that the hurricane was man-made. Quote, easy, the climate is changing because someone is changing the climate. Now, where have you guys heard that before? I said, don't talk to me about climate change until you know about the climate changers. That's been my slogan forever. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's my slogan, because what does it say at the top of ClimateViewer.com? It says, tracking the climate changers. Just my point, okay? Okay? Just trying to point that out there. So, yeah, I agree with whoever wrote that. Easy, the climate is changing because someone is changing the climate. It is the climate changers, the climate controllers. Anyway, the post garnered more than 11,000 likes in 3 days. Similar versions have been claimed to have been shared on Instagram, Facebook, and X, formerly Twitter. Our rating, missing context. All right, bro, just missing context. Okay, so that's not it's completely full of crap. It's debunked. No, it's just well, if we explain to you, you stupid people, you will understand better. Okay, that's all I'm saying here. That's what I'm saying. So we're going to get into that. What is this context which is missing, Hannah? The implied claim is false. Geoengineering technology, words matter, okay? Words matter. Geoengineering technology hasn't yet been developed that could create large-scale weather events like a hurricane, according to experts. The documents and websites referenced in the video aren't evidence of man-made hurricanes. I will agree that the documents, websites, or anything in the video doesn't have anything to do with creating a hurricane. But your original title, Hannah, was Video Misleadingly Links Hilary and Geoengineering. And, now you've changed it to experts say technology capable of creating hurricanes doesn't yet exist. No, creating hurricanes from scratch, not a thing. Modifying hurricanes is a whole ass thing. We're going to get into that. And of course, she says geoengineering. Okay? Geoengineering technology hasn't been developed that could create large-scale weather events like a hurricane. What about weather modification? Because geoengineering is not. Let me get this straight for you. So weather modification is not geoengineering, but geoengineering is weather modification, because geoengineering techniques like stratospheric aerosol injection will change rainfall patterns worldwide. Period, point blank, end of story. No doubt about it. This has been confirmed by Ben Kravitz, the Geoengineering Model Intercomparison Program, the International Assessment of Geoengineering Proposals, IAGP. They all say the same thing. Just like volcanoes, geoengineering would change rainfall patterns worldwide. So that is weather modification. So geoengineering, while it attempts to control the temperature of the planet, will do weather modification. Weather modification, although it is not geoengineering, if done on a large enough scale, according to James Roger Fleming, Dr. James Roger Fleming, Colby University, who wrote the book Fixing the Sky, the checkered history of weather and climate modification. If weather modification is done on a large enough scale, as we're going to see towards the end of this video, that would be considered geoengineering. Keep that in mind. Just trying to clarify, because context matters. So, geoengineering can't be used to control hurricanes. Hurricane Hilary was downgraded to a tropical storm before it swept through the southeast west region on August 20th, leaving thousands without power and causing flooding in several states. As typical when natural disasters like this occur, some social media users suspect the hurricane was a result of weather modification. Whoa, that was a real quick left turn. The man in the Instagram video references geoengineering, which is a type of large-scale intervention. And that word's key also because, again, geoengineering was first called geoengineering. The first person to call it geoengineering was a guy named Cesare Marchetti in 1977. But in the late 90s, early 2000s, they rebranded geoengineering to climate engineering. And then when the CIA and the National Science Foundation had a meeting called climate intervention, James Roger Fleming said, I don't think that, climate engineering is a good thing for a title. We're actually intervening in the climate. So they rebranded it climate intervention. Of course, this never stuck. And then they went right back to calling it geoengineering because people refused to stop calling it that. So now, as a just catch-all term for all of, the spraying in the sky, they just call it simply solar geoengineering. Words matter. But anyway, the man in the Instagram video references geoengineering, which is a type of large-scale intervention in the Earth's natural systems in an effort to counteract climate change, according to the University of Oxford. Not going to click that link. There are two general types of geoengineering, the university explains. Solar geoengineering, told you, aims to reflect a portion of the sun's energy into space and counteract increases in temperature, while carbon geoengineering, really? I mean, they've just really put that. Okay, that's a new one on me. That's the first time I've heard somebody say carbon geoengineering. Carbon geoengineering aims to remove greenhouse gases from the atmosphere. It's always been called carbon capture, okay? Carbon capture and sequestration, BECS, biochar, all of these things fall under carbon capture. But for some reason, now they're calling it just carbon geoengineering. Both are geoengineering. One is solar, one is just carbon-based, sucking it out of the sky. Direct air capture is that. But there's no technology that can control hurricanes. According to Simon Nicholson, director of American University's Center for Environment, Community, and Equity. I'm sorry. I get this thing in the back of my throat when I hear the word equity or sustainable. It happens. Okay. Anyway, obviously a moron. So anyway, director of American University's, what's that? Oh, we got new subscriber. Oh, yeah. Guys, I gotta tell you, this is one of them oh happy day moments. Just in the last day, it finally freaking happened. Yes, it finally freaking happened. Yeah, boy, after 15 freaking years, hit 30,000 subscribers. I mean, it's, proudly shadow banned since 2015. In less than 48 hours, I got over 500 subscribers. So, absolutely phenomenal. Little party up in here. It's a party up in here. It's a party up in here. So may that continue to grow onward and upwards. I am so freaking stoked that I finally got over that 20,000 hump and made it to the promised land. Good Lord. Oh Lord, what are we gonna do? But yes, thank you to everybody who subscribed, and thank you to Graham who just subscribed a minute ago. So back to this guy with a really long title that ends in equity. And co-director of the Institute for Carbon Removal Law and Policy, and Alan Robach. Now, I've talked a lot about Alan Robach. We'll get to him in a minute. A climate science professor at Rutgers University. I actually have a lot of respect for Alan, although he's wrong a lot too. There's no quote, there's no country running any kind of program that could have contributed to, let alone caused, any recent extreme weather events. Really? No country. You mean to tell me smarmy Simon Nicholson from the American University Center for Environment, Community, and Equity, that there's no country on the planet that could possibly be involved in this sort of thing, that could contributed to the formation or strengthening of a hurricane? You really want to stand on that one? How about China? MFR. Have you not heard about China? China's mind-blowing weather modification, geoengineering, and extreme low-frequency transmitter projects. Oh yeah, China's building a HARP to an ionospheric heater. But when China is literally creating a series of cloud seeding generators that cover the entire Tibetan plateau, as we can see here, that is a huge area. That is about the size of Spain. Okay? This is so large that when I asked James Roger Fleming in a tweet, I said, is this big enough to be considered the Mothra effect? Where did we hear that before? The Mothra effect. Yes, that's what I talked about on Sam Tripoli's show, Tinfoil Hat. We went into that, but let's go back here. I said, would this be big enough to be considered that? He said, yes, massive chemical cloud seeding of this type and the type proposed in the 1950s by Irving Langmuir are of the scale to be considered climate intervention. Now you see why I gave that explanation before about the climate intervention. This is James Roger Fleming. He was at J Fleming History on Twitter, but he deleted his Twitter account. Anyway. So I do have it in this video at 7:53.
Massive Kim.
There you can see it right there on the screen. I didn't make this shit up. There's the actual tweet. I said, hey, James Roger Fleming, it's ETC Group calling Chinese plan to cover Tibet and cloud seeding generators a geoengineering project. Do you agree this is a Mothra effect or should classify as geoengineering? See tweets above. I'll forward you their email. And he said, yes, this was in 2018. So I don't care one damn what Hannah and Simon and the fact checkers say. If this man agrees with this man, 2 gems greater than all fact checkers, it is possible that China and their massive weather modification projects are affecting weather on a global scale. In fact, that is exactly what I made the point in Gojira. Yeah, that Mothra. If you're too young to understand what the Mothra is, it's a Godzilla reference. The idea is simple. Does a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil cause a tornado in Texas? It's known as the butterfly effect, that small changes in the atmosphere can lead to large changes elsewhere. Well, what happens when large changes in the atmosphere happen to other places? That is not the butterfly effect. That is the Mothra effect. And this term, the Mothra effect, comes from when I interviewed Dr. James Roger Fleming. Reminder, the guy who wrote... my sword! Not the sword! Oh. Things are falling apart. I was going to shit. Not my sword. This is Dr. James Roger Fleming's book. As you can see here, I'm trying not to put too much shine on it. But I interviewed him at the 2018 Weather Modification Conference. And he came up with the term Mothra effect during that interview. I don't know if he'd come up with it before, but regardless, it's been a running joke between us ever since. So, back to what Moron said. Oh man, that's just so mean. Jim, you're so mean. He's not a moron. He's just ignorant. Okay? We'll just pretend for now that he's ignorant. So, no country running any kind of program that could have contributed to, let alone caused, any recent extreme weather events. I call bullshit. This just saying you're an idiot, like the shirt says. Oh, Lord. Alan Robach agreed, saying there's no current program trying to control the climate besides unrelated cloud seeding, which is a weather modification technique that introduces ice nuclei into certain types of sub-freezing clouds to improve their ability to produce rain or snow, according to the Desert Research Institute. Okay. Robach said this technique has not proven success, and it works in a very limited area. Quote, Project Storm Fury tried seeding hurricanes decades ago, but gave up, Robach said, referencing a failed experimental project that attempted to modify hurricanes by adding silver iodide to their clouds. I wonder what they actually have for the link for this. Okay, just the NOAA page on Storm Fury, which tells you like nothing, like absolutely nothing. Just, hey, between 1962 and 1983, only like 21 years we tried to, control hurricanes. NOAA did, but we've stopped. Now NOAA actually has, and I do believe that they have, but this is also another lie of omission. Why do you say it's a lie of omission, Jim? Well, let's go to the definitive source, weather modification history, at climateviewer.com/interactive timeline. If you're looking for it, you just go to the menu right here, site map, and it's right here under WMH features, interactive timeline, and our newspaper vault. Scroll down just a skosh. Oh, does that logo look familiar to you guys? Huh? Does that look familiar to you guys? It's not a coincidence. Okay? It's not a coincidence. Both of which come from the 1954 Collier's magazine. The cover of his book and our logo come from a 1954 Collier's magazine. But anyway. So if you go here to show tags and then you click on hurricane modification, you are left with this. And this is the entire history of hurricane control. Riddle me this. Project Cirrus, 1947. Cloud seeding was invented in September? Yeah. No, in November of 1946 by Irving Langmuir, Bernard Vonnegut, and Vincent Schaefer. And in less than 11 months later, they were already trying to steer hurricanes. Hurricane cloud seeding experiment. The problem is that when they did that, here's an original newspaper article from September 17th, 1947, destroying a hurricane. During Project Cirrus, let me get my face out the way. The U.S. Army, Navy, Weather Bureau, and General Electric scientists seed the first tropical storm ever on October 13th, 1947, with 180 pounds of dry ice dropped by aircraft, which is where this arrow is. Okay? This is where they seeded a tropical storm. However, when they did that, the Cape Sable hurricane formed. It was a tropical storm. They dropped 180 pounds of dry ice. It turned into a hurricane, then abruptly changed color and direction. 120-degree turn. As you can see here, this is the plot. So it changed directions and slammed into Savannah, Georgia, causing 1 death and $3.2 million in damages. But cloud seeding can't modify hurricanes. Do you believe that? Let me know in the comments. Do you believe that? Or is history just something that's forgotten and Alan Robach was completely ignorant of Project Cirrus? He mentions Project Storm Fury. Okay. Good on you. So we'll go to that one. Project Storm Fury. Project Storm Fury, 1962 to 1983. Right, sure. Also on the timeline, and you can see all of the things. These are the guys that were flying the planes into the hurricanes, and wouldn't you know it, they worked with China Lake Naval Warfare Center in China Lake, California. And what did they build? Cloud seeding bombs. So they weren't just dropping 180 pounds of dry ice. They literally made flare racks and bombs to bomb cyclones. How many people have heard the term bomb cyclone? Just saying. Bombogenesis. So, YouTube is going to exploit you with advertising now, Jim. Now, I doubt that YouTube will ever exploit me. They hate me. They hate me. Bombogenesis. But yeah, these are old pictures. That's some hurricane they seeded. Another hurricane they seeded. Yeah, the father of weaponized weather with Ben Livingston. Watch that if you haven't. It's an eyeful. But yes, he took part in that. I interviewed William Cotton at the 2018 Weather Modification Conference. He also participated in Project Storm Fury. Here's some original documentation from it. But that's kind of missing the point. The point is that, yes, they did stop doing that. Let's continue with this before we do any more history. David Fahey, director of NOAA, NOAA's Chemical Science Laboratory, and Joshua Horton, the former research director for geoengineering at Harvard Kennedy School, LIVO mission, Harvard Solar Geoengineering Program. Damn, fact checkers. Damn, just say it. Be honest. Like, put all of it in there. Also previously told USA Today they're not aware of any significant experiments or operations utilizing geoengineering technologies. Robach previously said climate interventions like geoengineering are still being developed and studied, and many of the technologies necessary to make them work don't exist yet. Okay. So, sources cited in the video don't prove the hurricane was man-made. Anyway, the man in the Instagram video initially refers to patents. First describes controlling hurricanes by raising temperatures in the eye, the outflow of the storm, while the second suggests controlling tornadoes and hurricanes by projecting sound waves at them. Both patent status are listed as abandoned, meaning neither ended up being successfully pursued. Weather Modification Incorporated, the next source the man discussed, says on its website it provides knowledge, data, and equipment and capabilities for those pursuing weather projects. The page doesn't do hurricane modification. Moving on. Neither page mentions geoengineering. Geoengineering Monitor, a website opposing geoengineering techniques, provides an interactive map of what it says our past, ongoing, and planned geoengineering projects. Robach said none of these projects featured on the map support the man's implication that the hurricane was man-made. So Alan Robach is admitting that the projects on there are ongoing. They are actual geoengineering projects, like the Marine Cloud Brightening Project, like Make Sunsets, the moron that's throwing balloons in the sky. There are geoengineering projects going on. But regardless, finally, the video references the National Weather Modification Policy Act of 1976, which directed the Secretary of Commerce to study the needs, implications, importance of recommendations for possible weather modification technology. The document specifically mentions decreasing the severity of hurricanes as an example of weather modification, not causing them. Robach said this act doesn't have a correlation with hurricane creation either. Due to climate change, hurricanes will likely continue to become more intense, increasing levels of rainfall and coastal flood risk, according to NASA. Oh, wait, but the person who actually came up with that theory to begin with was Dr. Judith Curry. Dr. Judith Curry, Curry, was the originator of the idea that climate change may be making hurricanes a little more intense. However, when she rescinded that because she realized that it was bullshit, they snubbed her, they kicked her out of the universities and all of that. But Dr. Judith Curry is still the number one climate scientist that Fortune 500 companies go to whenever they're looking to make a massive investment in a land project or building. And she said in an interview with Jordan Peterson, when a company comes to me, I typically give them between 70 to like 180 different possible models of what the future might look like. Not just one. So this idea that climate change is going to make hurricanes more intense, they know that that is bullshit. Because the person who came up with it initially also realized that it was wrong. And you can put into YouTube climate change intensifies severe weather and or hurricanes, and you can see Judy Curry was canceled by the climate cult. Nailed it in chat. You can see extremely credentialed scientist after scientist saying there is no correlation between increased CO2 levels and severe weather events. So you have to ask yourself, then what's causing it? Maybe it's all the climate chaos from all the people who are modifying the weather. If you're changing the weather, then you might create extreme weather. Or maybe that was your purpose all along. Regardless, USA Today previously debunked a video from the same creator in which he claimed the fires in Maui were linked to 15-minute cities, artificial intelligence, energy weapons, and weather modification. There's no evidence of these claims. Oh, wait, but what's this? Tell me, what is this? In a previous video, I showed you guys this. What caused the Maui fires? It was, and you can't go back to it now, but basically this high pressure ridge reached all the way from Japan all the way to LA as the hurricane was down here. Let me see if I can actually go to that day and go to pressure. Is it going to let me? No, it won't. It won't let me. You can't go with that fur back. But as you can see, it looked a lot like that. See how wide this is? On the 8th, the high pressure dome literally reached from Tokyo to LA. And that's what was driving all of the winds that fueled the fires on Maui. But Jim, why are you showing us this now? I mean, what does it freaking matter? Because we're talking about Hurricane Hilary today. So why don't we look and see what exactly happened with Hurricane Hilary to cause her to steer the way she did? Well, let's just hit play. And right now we are on August 19th. Hilary's just strolling off the Baja Peninsula. And what is this? What is this huge penis-looking growing arch right here wrapping around the... Oh, wait. It's going to do something. It's about to do the thing. We have high pressure to the left of us. High pressure building to the right of us. This is mighty coincidental, you might say. Oh, it is just getting larger and larger. And wait for it. Hurricane Hilary is about to make landfall, and the high pressure is just wall to wall around the hurricane. That is mighty freaking coincidental. So was it weather modification? Are people able to create artificial high pressure zones? Is it possible to dump chemicals in the atmosphere to artificially change where high pressure ridges are in the sky? Because this hurricane is going to follow the path of least resistance. And currently, there's a huge high pressure dome on the left of it and on the right of it. So it's going right up the middle. Just saying. This is something that I see time and time and time again. This is the thing nobody wants to talk about. Closing that out. But anyway, so yeah, they say that it's not a thing. The problem with that is that they're focused on, well, let me break it down for you. The guy said geoengineering. He did not say weather modification. They talk about Project Storm Fury. They don't talk about Project Cirrus. There's something even bigger they don't talk about. Something much more recent. They said NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, did Project Storm Fury 62 through 83, 1983, and that they aren't going to do it anymore. Now, I will agree that they did say they would not do it anymore. In fact, right here is the paper. NOAA refuses Hurricane Modification Program. July 29, 2008. As we reported in May, more than 25 years after the termination of NOAA's Project Storm Fury, which aimed to weaken hurricanes by seeding clouds with silver iodide, the Department of Homeland Security has been attempting to involve NOAA in establishing a hurricane modification program of its own. What? It's right there. It's in black and white. That's because I have a beautiful dark mode. I could make it white, but all websites should have a dark mode. We're going to leave that on. Given the dubious results of the past research and a host of other concerns, NOAA appeared unwilling to provide the critical support the Department of Homeland Security program requires. The rebuff to NOAA is now official. A letter dated July 29 from William Laska, a program manager for the Department of Homeland Security's Advanced Research Project Agency. That's like DARPA. It's DHS, Advanced Research Project Agency. DARPA. Creepy, right? Right? I mean, it's creepy, okay? Dark mode is GOAT. I love you, bro. K1F8. You feel me. You're my soul brother. You know what I mean. Black mode, whatever. Anyway, William Laska from DHS's DARPA and Richard Spinard, director of NOAA's Office of Atmospheric Research, OAR. While OAR recognizes that weather modification in general is occurring through the funding of private enterprises, NOAA does not support research that entails efforts to modify hurricanes. And I have the actual document. I'm not going to read the rest of it to you, but here's the actual letter. Okay, so I have the original letter from Richard Spinard at NOAA to William Laska saying, we're not going to work on the Hurricane Aerosol and Microphysics program, which was HAMP. And that was that. So what do we have over here? This is HAMP. We'll get the HAMP and Hermit in just a second. What is this really all about, Jim? You're kind of going on ad nauseum. It's about this. It's about this. So I'm going to tell you guys a little story, and then I'm going to show you guys this, because this is a middle finger right into the deep-seated heart of this argument that nobody's trying to mess with hurricanes. This was the Department of Homeland Security Hurricane Modification Workshop in Boulder, Colorado, February 6th and 7th, 2008. And Bill Gates is involved in this. Okay? And Bill Gates is involved. So, because Katrina, President Obama, he signed the Paris Climate Agreement. And in 2008, right after, literally a month after President Obama became the president, NOAA was meeting in Boulder, Colorado to have a hurricane modification workshop. Interestingly enough, this became the time known as the 10-year hurricane drought, which was technically, it's more like 11 years, because from the time that Katrina hit till Donald Trump took office, no major hurricane made landfall in America. That is highly coincidental, wouldn't you say? I think it's highly coincidental. And the reason why I say this is because what did Donald Trump do the day he got in office? He basically undid the Trans-Pacific Partnership, and then the same day he canceled the Paris Climate Accord, COP21, the global warming agreement. So on day one of Trump's presidency, he pissed off the climate engineers. And before the end of that year, 3 hurricanes hit America. Coincidence? You tell me. I'm just saying, you can look this up. This is history. So, what was this all about? So when I look at it, I break it down for you at the very top in a little timeline. So the timeline goes like this. January 3rd, 2008, all of these patents were filed. If you look at the patents, and I'm just gonna bring one of these up just so you guys can see that I'm not making this up. U.S. Patent Application 2009, water alteration structure, and blah 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 blah. This may not sound like, a hurricane modification title. Does it sound like it to you? Water alteration structure risk management or ecological alteration management system and methods? But who's on it, Jim? Jeffrey A. Kenneth Boyers, or Ken Caldera, Alistair Chan, William H. Gates III, a.k.a. Bill Gates, Roderick Hyde, John Latham, Nathan P. Mervhold, the Microsoft patent troll, Stephen Salter. John Latham and Stephen Salter are the originators of the Marine Cloud Brightening Project. It was called the Silver Lining Project. What is the Silver Lining Project, you're asking? It's this boat. You see this boat right here? This is the Silver Lining Project. And it was created by John Latham and Stephen Salter. The idea that they would do marine cloud brightening to make, whiter clouds over the ocean. This is the diagram of what the boat actually looks like internally. Here's the problem. They actually said anti-global warming boats, BBC. There's a video, another video, Silver Lining Project. This is one I did way back in the day. This is an old ass video right here. This is from a weather modification conference. It's 10 years old. Okay, that's how old this video is.
My name is Hailong Wang from Pacific Northwest National Lab.
Anyway, so you get the point. This has been around for a long time. Silver Lining Project, Marine Cloud Brightening Project, Professor Stephen Salter. So all of them were in on this. So Jim, why are you going on about this stupid patent? And Lowell Wood Jr., Dr. Evil. So Roderick Hyde, Lowell Wood, and Edward Teller are the originators of the current push for geoengineering. And Bill Gates, Ken Caldera, John Latham, and Stephen Salter, 3 geoengineers, got together to come up with this idea for, wait for it, this little picture right here in the patent, which I'm going to blow up very nicely for you because I made a nice big one for you. Here we go. Bill Gates, right there highlighted in red, operates storm suppression equipment. At least one interested party as to the potential alert at least one interested party as to the potential for storm damage. Hey, oil company, there's a hurricane coming. That's this part. Provide information to oil company, at least one interested party, of the cost and likelihood of reducing damage for the at least one interested party. Yo, oil company, you know how much money it's going to cost you when this hurricane hits you? Receiving at least one payment from the at least one interested party. Yo, oil company, pay up. Receive a request from interested party to provide storm protection. This is a patent application from Bill Gates, Ken Caldera, not David Keith, John Latham and Nathan Mervhold, Stephen Salter, the Marine Cloud Brightening guys, to use their boats to control the weather, to control a hurricane. Now, I bring this up because this seems to have started a sequence of events. I like to connect dots, okay? So these were all filed on January 3rd. So here's how the story goes. Nathan Mervhold is known lovingly as the patent troll. Google it, the patent troll, and you'll come up with Nathan Mervhold's name. Nathan Mervhold, Bill Gates, John Latham, Stephen Salter, and Ken Caldera. This is what I'm imagining happened here. Speculation time. They're all at a New Year's party. They're getting, they're tossing some back and tossing some back, and they're like, hey, what if we, we already got these marine cloud brightening boats that we're making. What if we stuck them into a hurricane and we sprayed a bunch of salt up into them, and maybe we could steer the hurricanes with our boats? And we could make some money while doing it. Meanwhile, Nathan Mervhold, he's over there like this. He's like this. All right, yeah. And John said, and then literally a couple days later, he's freaking over there like, let's go and let's go file all of this as patent applications. Let's see what sticks. And one did stick. So yeah, they did actually get a patent through. It became, as you can see here, U.S. patent 834 8550. So this is the actual patent that was approved. So they put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different patent applications in, all with Bill Gates' name on it, and they did actually approve it. It is an official patent. However, all of these happened. These were all January 3rd, January 30th, 2008. While these were going on, this patent application process, February 6th through 7th, 2008, Department of Homeland Security Hurricane Modification Workshop happened. In April 21st, 2008, the Weather Modification Association Conference, new unconventional concepts and legal ramifications. This happened at the 2008 Weather Modification Conference. Atmospheric heating as a research tool. Bernard Eastland died, so they had him, another guy come in and give Bernard Eastland's presentation for him. On engineering hurricanes with William Cotton, who I interviewed in 2018, and reducing hurricane intensity using upwelling pumps. So they gave, and I've got videos of all of these, by the way, too, so you can actually look at those. They're all on my YouTube. All 3 of these are on my YouTube channel, so you can watch them. To April 2009, Future Tech Guidance to Understanding Future Department of Homeland Security S&T Critical Research Innovation Focus Areas. Another patent application, 2009, May 29, and final approval to Ken Caldera, Bill Gates, Roderick Hyde, Lowell Wood, Nathan Mervold, John Latham, Stephen Salter, and co. So yes, this all happened. Oh wait, that's not all. Then they had a U.S. Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation hearing, Weathering the Storm, the need for a national hurricane initiative. This is July 2008. Okay. July 29, 2009. NOAA says no to DHS hurricane modification. I already showed you the letter. So they weren't making this up. May 2010, Weather Modification Association Conference, Hurricane Aerosol Microphysics Program. They did do it. June 2010, Harnessing the Valuable Experience and Resources of the Private Sector for Public Good, Innovative Public-Private Partnerships. This is also at that same conference. And finally, NASA obviously took up the Department of Homeland Security's call, and NASA did the Genesis and Rapid Intensification Process GRIP program. So not only was it the Department of Homeland Security, not only was it NASA, they were all involved on this. This all happened in the very first year of President Obama being elected. This rollout and re-rolling of the past. Ideas that had been long since forgotten suddenly were coming back to light. What ideas, you may say? How about one like this? This was back in July 1974. Steering hurricanes with carbon black dust. It may also be possible to use carbon dust to enhance precipitation over the interior land areas, alter extratropical cyclones, hurricanes, inhibit daytime summer temperatures and severe weather, prevent frost, and speed up springtime snowmelt in agriculturally marginal regions. What were they talking about? This. weather modification by carbon dust absorption of solar energy. And in this picture, they literally show, open image in new window, and we'll go full screen, that William Gray and Company, 1976, were showing how they would dump carbon black to be sucked into the eye walls of hurricanes to steer them. Idealized portrayal of a typical hurricane radial circulation and how carbon black dust seeding of the boundary layer just beyond the cirrus shield might lead to enhanced cumulus convection, reduction of low level inflow, which penetrates the eye wall cloud. Carbon geoengineering. Willie, use a smart ass. I get what you just said there. But yes, that is exactly what they're talking about here. Is it showing ads during my live stream? Is that what you're saying, Dusty Blue? Because that's not gonna happen ever again. Not cool. Not cool. Damn. Not cool. Anyway, has anyone heard of Fallout Shelter? I have not heard from him, Jay Hart. I will try to reach out to him and update you that. That's crazy. Okay, so we just hit the 1 hour mark. So like literally at the 1 hour mark, everybody just got a freaking ad. Wow. Unbelievable. So now how far behind the chat are you guys? Like I've been talking, y'all been watching a fucking bit advertisement. Anyway. I will check the settings and my apologies, admonish me. I will make sure this does not happen ever again. Got you a gift for 30K. Mid-roll ads. Mark Daga, you're a dick. Thanks. All right. It won't happen again. I'll go check the settings. But in here, they basically show chemtrail planes and they show an engine. And right here, they show the carbon make section. As you can see right here, the turbine. Oh, look, it's them chemtrails. And here's the jet engine with the burner and the turbine, the afterburner, and the carbon make section to make carbon black dust to steer hurricanes. Why did I go through all the trouble of showing you this? Because damn, Jimmy, that was a lot. Because that's exactly what they proposed. That idea originated in 1974. Okay, I want you to keep this in mind. William Gray, 1974, paper published 1976, carbon dust absorption of solar radiation, solar energy. Well, what's old is new, and they say they're going to do it again. So what do they actually propose here? I'm going to make this really freaking big for you. This is what the DHS proposed in their program in 2008. Limited scale field tests. If you don't know what a field test means, it means they're not doing it in a freaking laboratory. They're going to go out in the real world, outdoors, and test it. First up, salt seeding tests. I just showed you the patents from Bill Gates, John Latham, and Dr. Steven Salter. The marine cloud brightening boats. Salt seeding tests. Their boats spray salt. Carbon black aerosol. Upper ocean cooling. Ion generators. Electricity, bitches. And then they just say seeding and monolayer films. So I'm going to break these down for you. They literally are talking about using the Department of Homeland Security, 2008. We are going to use marine cloud brightening boats to spray salt into hurricanes. We're going to do carbon black dust absorption of solar energy like the guys back in 1974 said. We're going to do upper ocean cooling. Also a Steven Salter idea that they would take pipes from the bottom of the ocean that run down to the bottom of the ocean, get cold water from the bottom of the ocean and pump it up to the surface to control the path and weaken. They call it hurricane emasculation. I love terminology. So much fun. We're nerding out over here. Ion generation. Cloud ionizers for hurricanes. Good old-fashioned seeding, like Project Storm Fury, like Project Cirrus, like Project Scud, all of which happened before. And monolayer films. Now, that's probably one that you're going, huh. So monolayer films can be many different things, but think of it like this. It is an artificial oil slick created to cut off the water that gets sucked into a hurricane. This can be achieved by engineered nanoparticle, self-forming, chemicals, or as some people have seen in the past, aerogel. Aerogel is one of the types of things that have been talked about as a monolayer film for cutting off water going into a hurricane. So it's literally creating a thin film across the surface of the ocean. They would obviously lay it out before the hurricane got there. And then when the hurricane ran over it, I can't breathe, and then the hurricane dies. But nobody's messing with hurricanes. Nobody's messing with hurricanes. Quit talking this crazy stuff. The only mistake the guy made on Instagram is he used the word geoengineering. He used the word geoengineering. So they jumped on it like hot shit, like flies on hot shit, because they want to keep this narrative that geoengineering is a good thing. Solar geoengineering, it's the only thing that's going to save us when these climate clocks run out in 2029. That's right. Look it up. The climate clocks are ticking and they run out on 2029, just in time for Agenda 2030. President Biden and the European Union have just put forth new plans to study geoengineering, solar geoengineering, marine cloud brightening, and cirrus cloud thinning. Why? Is this coincident? Is it a coincidence that the United States and the UK have now put together two new research projects that coincide? They're supposed to be about 5 years. The climate clocks are set at 6 years. And when the climate clocks run out, they want everybody to think that geoengineering is a good thing. So anybody who says anything bad about geoengineering in the near future will be, instantly attacked by these fool-ass fact checkers that tell you half-truths and claim that it's truth because they interviewed a guy who has credibility and then took, what he said out of context or, did some verbal ninjutsu. They always do this. Call me, motherfuckers. That's what I would say. Call me, because I'll set you straight. What's true, what's not true. In chat, they're using NextRad to steer hurricanes. That's bullshit. That's completely impossible. NextRads are about 750,000 watts. They are on a pulsed array. NextRads cannot steer hurricanes. Sorry. Other question in chat. Where'd it go? I just saw it. Somebody said something about HARP. Where's it at? I just saw it, man. Come on. It couldn't have been that far back. Or my eyes not scanning. Carl Barger. Ionization by HARP, Jimbo? No. That's another thing. HARP and NextRad. Completely overused. Okay? Completely overused, abused, whatever 52H, yes, they can. It's elementary. Go back to school. Whatever. I don't know who the fuck you think you're talking to, but I'll give you the same opportunity I've gave every single scientist, every single, anybody, does not matter who it is. If you believe I'm full of shit and you've got the huevos to put that shit on the line, you can come on this show, jim@climateviewer.com, and you can show me the evidence. Show me where I'm wrong. But you will not sit in my damn chat and tell me to go back to school saying that NextRad can steer a fucking hurricane when NextRad compared to a hurricane is like a match versus a jet engine blowing wind. Hurricane don't give a shit about an X-ray. Millions of nuclear bombs worth of energy per second in a hurricane. NEXRAD cannot steer a hurricane. I was there, okay, man. 2010, I was there. Dutch Sense, HARP rings. I personally am the reason, and you can ask Dutch. Michael Janich will tell you that Jim Lee is the reason that he doesn't say the words HARP rings anymore. Weather War 101 stole my NEXRAD and Joint Surveillance System Doppler radar maps and made his YouTube channel off of my maps and started talking about NEXRAD controlling the weather. And guess what he didn't do towards the end? He stopped talking about it because he realized he was full of shit too. So then he started Weather War 101, started talking about wet surface air coolers. Dutch Sense stopped talking about NEXRAD and HARP rings and started talking about freaking earthquakes. NEXRAD cannot control the weather. I have studied video after video after video. I have looked for 15 damn years for evidence of a NEXRAD even moving a single cloud. That has not ever reached my desk. I have never seen it. So unless you're willing to bring your ass on here and prove me wrong, you're wrong. Whatever, 52H. And on the HARP tip, can y'all do a collab? Who? Julianne, please do. I've yet to see anyone put their ass on line. 2 people have. And much to their credit, Mick West did finally. Mick West is the top debunker on the planet. And he did debate me and lost. Wasn't just my fans saying he lost. He admitted to me later on when I showed him documentation from Dr. Arnold J. Barnes, carbon black dust, weather modification, how the military intended to create clouds on demand. I showed him 2 Freedom of Information Act requests. He said, okay, you're right. Me and Dutch, me and Dutch had a beef back in the day. I have long since buried that. I have no ill will towards Dutch whatsoever. It was literally just a terminology thing between me and Dutch. I said, Dutch, stop calling them HARP rings because there's only one HARP. And I'm trying to teach people about HARP, so you're making my job hard. And eventually he agreed to. But if Dutch ever did want to work together on weather modification topics, I'd willingly do that. I like Dutch. And some of my longtime viewers know about what happened other than what we're talking about with the HARP ring things, but I'm not going to bring that up because that's ancient history. And between the 500 YouTube videos, 2,000 tweets to my police department that I was a pedophile, over a year and a half, and a group of 7 individuals who trolled me and my family in 2012, I don't really want to go down that road again, and it didn't end too well for them. But anyway, that being said, I do believe Michael was used in that whole process. Now, HARP. Claiming that HARP can steer hurricanes also pretty dumb. First off, HARP is only working at 3/4 of the power that it used to work. Okay? It's actually, if you divide the array into, 4 separate regions, 3 of the 4 regions are operational. So it's not even at full power like it was back when the United States Air Force was running the place and the U.S. Naval Research Lab. Secondly, it's not on all the time. This is another big misconception. HARP cost about $500,000 per hour to turn it on. Radical Ralph Russo, among other people, I have a lot of friends who are ham radio operators. I also have what's called web SDR, software defined radio. And because HARP operates on a 2.8 to 10 megahertz frequency, you cannot use HARP without all of us in the world knowing it's on. Not all of you, because not all of you give a damn, and not all of you follow this sort of stuff. But if they turn HARP on, we instantly know. And I can tell you with 100% certainty, HARP is not on right now. And yeah, there's six engines that drive HARP. They're big diesel engines. And because I befriended Chris Fallon, who was the director of HARP, I made a PowerPoint presentation on HARP. I sent it to Chris Fallon. He said 100% accurate. Bravo. All but that part where you said Fukushima. And I threw that in at the end just to get him in the ribs, about ionospheric heating over Fukushima prior to the, meltdown of a nuclear power plant. So if you have a thing called an ionospheric heater, and we have scientific proof that the ionosphere was heated over Fukushima, then is it possible that the ionospheric heater heated the sky, which caused the earthquake? Or do you want to believe the mainstream scientific view that cracks in the ground release radiation, which heated the sky, and that was just an after effect? So this is the whole chicken before the egg thing. Now they're actually saying that basically they can use this ionospheric heating as a prediction of earthquakes. So they have earthquake prediction programs around the world. In fact, I do believe in Italy, some people were thrown in jail for not accurately predicting an earthquake, if you can believe that shit. But regardless, to summarize, when they're talking about ion generators here, they are specifically talking about cloud ionization methods. These are methods that directly, use electricity to put ions in the sky. I'll bring this video up real quick and I'll show you exactly what I'm talking about. So this was a video I did. It's called Shocking Weather, Electric Weather Control. And you can see this handsome devil in this black suit. But this is a cloud ionizer. And I'll show it to you right now. Make it rain. So this is the new trend.
We have started the ion generator just 10 minutes before. And you can hear the voice of it.
With the cloud ionization techniques, they don't have to add chemicals. There's already chemicals up there. There's dust, there's mold, there's spores, there's bacteria, all of these things. If you just give them that static spark, those negatively charged particles, they will attract water vapor to the chemicals that are already up there, and they actually pull pollution out of the atmosphere. What do you think? So that's what a cloud ionizer is. That's weathergenerator.net. That's Mateo Systems Weather Tech. I have a whole list of these things. If you, since we're on it, I'll show it. Hold on one second. So I'll come over here and we'll just go to it together. Let me pick a different page because I don't want to use the one I'm already on. And we'll go here and we'll go here and we'll scroll down the page to the bottom of the page, because at the bottom of the page where we keep them articles, and think it's in here, and it might not be, but there it is. So I'm gonna click on it. Cloud ionization, electric rainmaking, and laser-guided weather modification. Link in chat for everybody who doesn't know what cloud ionization is. None of this has anything to do with fucking HARP or NEXRADs. These are what they look like. Okay? That is a cloud ionizer. I wrote this article in March 26, 2014. Okay? So, this is what the Department of Homeland Security was talking about when they said cloud ionizers, ion generators. There are many different types of ion generators. This is traditional cloud seeding with chemicals. So they did mention seeding, the idea of dumping chemicals in there. But then the new method of ion generation, where they use negatively charged ions to as cloud condensation nuclei to control stuff. So this really got a lot of heat at the time in 2014 because Mateo Systems has built 5 sites with 10 emitters each in the deserts of Abu Dhabi. This was 2014. And they said, that they were able to, they claimed they were able to make it rain 50 times in the desert. And that really, got everybody's panties in a wad. So the World Meteorological Organization's expert team on weather modification came out with a statement saying, weather modification technologies that claim to achieve such large-scale or dramatic effects do not have a sound scientific basis, e.g. hail cannons, ionization methods, and should be treated with suspicion. And they did this in Abu Dhabi, 22-24 March 2010. So they were coming out, the WMO, the United Nations, were coming out and saying, hey, electric weather modification, not a thing, should be treated with suspicion. We just don't trust it. But when you ask the Department of Homeland Security, they're like, what are we going to do? Ion generators. So that's my point. This is not, everybody always focuses on HARP and NEXRAD, and they don't know anything about these types of cloud ionizers. This is electric weather modification. This is what it looks like. That and lasers. This is AST Clear Sky Manager, another type of ionizer. Photos, okay, of the actual devices. Just going to go through and show you just the pictures. This is from their actual patent where you can see their, method for breaking anticyclonic circulation and device for carrying out said method. You mean a cloud ionizer for destroying cyclones or hurricanes and tornadoes? How about that? I wonder what that's all about. AST Clear Sky Manager. Then you have AustralianRain.com.au, Australian Rain Technologies Atlant Cloud Ionizer. Same. Looks like a bunch of freaking pyramids. They pump power into it. Electricity shoots out of it into the sky. That's how they control the weather. So, and then here they give like a diagram of how it works. And I've already explained this, basically negatively charged ions. The same thing that air filters do in your house. These work like air filters work. So anyway, and then Aqueous Global Rain Project. This is about steering atmospheric rivers. Signals are launched from ground-based servers to adjust flight paths of weather systems. In fact, when I interviewed the creator of this, his name is David Miles from Miles Research, formerly Aqueous. It's on the front page of ClimateViewer.com. If you want to learn more about cloud ionization and steering atmospheric rivers, hear it from the man himself. David Miles on steering sky rivers, weather moderation, as he calls it, and military implications. Absolutely freaking amazing interview. So the reason I'm bringing all this up is because, like I said, what's old is new. They go through what they're going to do, and then they start going into all the different projects. And let me go down here. I'm going to just scroll through real quick. Category 5. All right, so this one is the one. So as you can see, this is the new idea. Collaborative research on hurricane modification by carbon black dispersion. I should just drop the fucking mic at this point. Methods, risks, mitigation, and risk communication by Dr. Mosh Alamaro, MIT University, 2008, at the Department of Homeland Security Hurricane Modification Workshop. This is cloud seeding with carbon black dust, the exact same thing that William Gray was talking about in the 1976 paper, Carbon Dust Absorption of Solar Energy. This weather modification by carbon dust absorption of solar energy, 1976. This is 2008 now, okay? So in 2008, he said this, hey, let's do the exact same thing that they were talking about. Picture of C-130 flying over a hurricane. Fleet of transport aircraft flying at 50,000 feet drop soot in the path of a targeted area of the hurricane. Over here. Number 2, soot is warmed by the sun, heating the cool air around it at the very top of a hurricane. This reduces the flow of air within the hurricane and slows it down. I shall move to other side of screen. Depending on where and when the soot is dropped, the now weakened hurricane will change course. Which is exactly what we saw in the case of Hurricane Hilary. Now, can I prove that somebody went out and dumped a bunch of carbon black dust into Hurricane Hilary to weaken it and then change its direction? Is it a coincidence that it was flanked on either side by high pressure domes and that the Department of Homeland Security plus NASA did Project HAMP, Hurricane Aerosol Microphysics Program, Project Hermit, like Hermit the Frog? What is this Hermit you're talking about, Jimbo? Yeah, there's this. Department of Homeland Security, Hurricane Mitigation Project Hermit and HAMP. Link in chat. And you can see here all the information on that. So these are the different projects, contracts, and grants connected to hurricane aerosol microphysics studies. And then they show all the people that were involved right here at the bottom. DHS contract, big number here. HAMP project, fiscal year 2008, 616. Project Hermit from CIRA HAMP and WWC HAMP grants. Israel Academy of Science grant number, blah, blah, blah. NOAA contract number. I thought NOAA wasn't involved. Binational U.S. Israel Science Foundation, BSF grant number. KIPEX from an NCAR study, partially funded by HAMP. Department of Energy grant this. Department of Defense Center for Geoscience Atmospheric Research at the Colorado State University under cooperative agreement. And this big ass number with the Army Research Laboratory, $6.4 million of taxpayers' money went towards just the Hurricane Aerosol Microphysics Program and Project Hermit, Hurricane Mitigation. This is what it looked like, the Hurricane Aerosol and Microphysics Program. So HAMP, Hermit, and NASA's GRIP project are what we know of. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, they happen. In addition to that, so he talks about specifically carbon black dust steering hurricanes. This presentation is focused on the use of carbon black aerosol to selectively heat parts of the atmosphere by dispersion of CBA above a hurricane, like shown in photo here. Okay? You cannot make this up. Bring your damn receipts. And fact checkers, go get a real fucking job. Like, quit focusing on, individual terms. Like the dude said geoengineering. The dude said we can create hurricanes, and then telling half truths in your freaking your fact check. Just so we're all clear, Facebook pays for a lot of these fact checks. If you didn't know that. So we're at 1 hour, 30 minutes. So every 30 minutes, but I'm seeing people saying another ad. Every 30 minutes, they're dropping an ad on this video while I'm freaking live. I'm going to make sure that it never happens again. Not cool. Apparently, I clicked the wrong button. Oh my God. Well, did y'all watch it? I mean, did you watch it? Because I'm broke over here. I'm trying to fix the teeth. In case y'all didn't notice that. Just your 1 hour, 1.5 hour reminder. Please go to connect.climateviewer.com and donate. You may donate by mail at 25 Tripp Drive. That's TRIPP Drive, Sumter, South Carolina, 29153. Brother man needs some teeth over here. These things they're going to go give out any minute. I just take a lot of fucking ibuprofen. Anyway, so back to this thing. I'm just going to scroll through it rapidly. We're going to summarize all the things that the Department of Homeland Security said they were going to do. Then they said hurricane emasculation. I didn't make it up. I wasn't lying. Via ocean surface cooling. Dr. John Latham. I'm just saying. That's the guy from the patent. That's the guy from the Silver Lining Project, which became the Marine Cloud Brightening Project. This presentation discussed cooling ocean surface waters in the regions in which a genesis of a hurricane occurs by seeding low-level maritime stratocumulus clouds covering these regions, or one from which ocean currents flow into these regions in order to increase their reflectivity for incoming sunlight, thus producing cooling. Geoengineering by doing marine cloud brightening. John Latham. Okay. So there's that. Hurricane intensity reduction effort via sea surface cooling. Dr. Alan F. Bloomberg. Methodology for reducing the intensity using arrays of wave driving upwelling pumps. I guess it's probably best just to show you the animation on this. I think I have it right here.
Tends to spread things out.
So this is, I got my climate change badge of honor right here. Could you please get that off my damn screen? Because it makes it hard for people to read this. So here's what they call the upwelling pumps. And they basically suck water from the bottom of the ocean up to the surface to cool the surface. Video of that on this is from one of those weather mod conferences. Very freaking nerdy video, okay? So you'll see that they actually did create upwelling pumps and do tests and all of that. Wave energy, fish feeding, and hurricane suppression with Dr. Stephen Salter. This is known as the Salter sink. The idea behind this one, and intellectual ventures, did it really just say that?
As the sun warms up the surface of the ocean, the heat radiating upwards acts as the fuel for hurricanes. The Salter sink is simply a way to stir up the ocean. Essentially a large pump powered by waves, it can push hot water from the ocean surface to depths where it can mix up with the colder water below. This large yellow ring acts as an artificial beach that captures water from waves. With each wave, a hydraulic head is produced that pumps more water down. A sink could be constructed of recycled tires and other basic construction materials. Where hurricanes form, the ocean is about 82 degrees Fahrenheit on the surface. As divers know, the water is much colder down below. Using unlimited, free wave energy and no moving parts, Sumter sinks achieve gigawatt thermal pumping rates. Water exits the Sumter sink
Heat
500
transfer
feet
rate
below,
about 10
where
billion
the average
watts.
temperature is only 50 degrees Fahrenheit. This warm water cools as it rises, mixing with the colder waters at depth. This is a simple way to perform a gargantuan task that could prevent billions of dollars in damage and save many, many lives. Thousands of Sumter sinks would be needed to reduce the surface temperatures over the vast amount of ocean where these storms are formed.
Oh, wait, is that the area that, currently we're worried about a hurricane headed towards Florida? Coincidental. It's pure coincidence. Conspiracy, Jim. You're just talking conspiracies. The Sumter sink. So we just had John Latham, Stephen Sumter, the guys from the patents at the beginning talking about warning people and making money off of their geoengineering ideas to cool the ocean, to spray, stuff into the sky. None of this is happening. It's all just pure coincidence. It's speculation. No, the Department of Homeland Security had nothing to do with this. No mention of it in either fact check. By the way, this isn't the only fact check. I just really got bored as shit of reading people lie.
Great stream tonight. Thanks.
Thank you so much for the super chat up in CT. You the best. I appreciate you, appreciating me, appreciating you. Thank you so much. Also on afpfactcheck.com, false claims swirl on Hurricane Hilary weather manipulation. And of course, they go into a lot of the same crap. I don't like cookies. Make your cookies go away. Confirm my choices. And I blocked all your cookies anyway. Nom, nom, nom. All cookies gone. But anyway, the claim comes from CBK News, an account AFP has also previously fact-checked, refers to HARP, and we've already gone over this. That's why I was like, I could read this one to you, but apparently they jumped on the same dude making the same video, using the same website. Shit, that's Zoom.earth. I mean, come on, look, that's the same website I'm on right here. Anyway. But yeah, they talk about, the same, basically it's the same thing all the way through. So I figured why, go through both. I was going to go through it because simply they talked about HARP, but since somebody already asked in chat about HARP, I figured asked and answered, right? How HARP works. They have this thing on how HARP works. Let me tell you, brother. You want to know how HARP works? You come over here to ClimateViewer on YouTube, scroll down, and you'll see that my most popular video ever was ionospheric heaters, how HARP really works 8 years ago. And that video I've had more scientists, call me and say, how the hell did you figure this one out? As well as you did. But yeah, 171,000 views, most I've ever gotten on any video ever. Yes, I know how HARP works. So that being said, we'll just ignore the rest of that. Was there anything else in here? Oh yeah, there's the picture at the bottom. Review of 2 hurricane modification schemes. Dr. Mash Alamaro, MIT University, gets in a second time. Hygroscopic seeding of hurricanes. Dr. William R. Cotton. This is the OG from basically from Project Storm Fury, coming back in and saying, here's all these ideas of how we could do, what we did before with cloud seeding. We could do some cloud seeding. Gulf Coast Partnership and Promotion of GEMS, Gulf Eddy Monitoring System, and Acoustic Tomographic Solution. And recommendations, they go through all that. Diminishing hurricane intensity by reducing upper ocean heat content, modification of hurricane structure and intensity through aerosols. So they go through all these conclusions, summaries, and just so you know that none of this was made up, there's all the attendees. And, you know, Mr. William Laska, the one that we said, you know, basically NOAA wrote a letter to him, the guy from NOAA. He's number one right here. There's William Laska. Edward Hume, Dr. Joe Golden, super famous guy. William Cotton, also super famous. And the list goes on of all of the individuals who attended. William Woodley from Woodley Weather Consultants, another huge weather modification company nobody ever heard of, never talks about. I know all these names, but I'm a nerd, so I'm expected to. But, you know, anyway, not pictured, Dr. Rolf Brutenhags. I have never been able to pronounce this man's name, but he's from the National Center for Atmospheric Research, NCAR. He is the head of the World Meteorological Association's expert team on weather modification. But he didn't want to be in the picture. So, yeah. So that's your team. There's John Latham right there. That is Stephen Salter is this one? No? Anyway, there they are. That's William Cotton right there. I interviewed that guy. So there you go. There's your climate engineers. There's the Department of Homeland Security under Obama and all of the climate engineers getting together to talk about steering hurricanes. But this is all just a conspiracy. Nothing to see here. And there's so much more I could talk about, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Because when you look at the history of weather control, cloud seeding was invented in November of 1946, and by October of the following year, they were already doing Project Cirrus. They seeded a tropical storm. It turned into a hurricane. It ran into Savannah, Georgia. They did Project Scud after that. Then they did Project Storm Fury for 21 years. NOAA did that. And then there was this nice quiet period where everybody said, you know, maybe we should leave hurricanes alone. At least this is just in America. Everything I've told you today is only American. We don't know what Russia has been up to. We don't know what China has been up to. But I can tell you that this, y'all get a kick out of this one. Trump hurricane gun. You can't make this up. Rolling Stone. Trump kept asking if China was shooting us with a hurricane gun. And the answer to that question has still not been had. In fact, they just mocked Trump for this. But as we previously pointed out, China has got huge weather modification prospects. This is what they're doing. This is their plan. Huge. China and Russia working together on ionospheric heating experiments like HARP. China is going for the moon on this. And this is actually Chris Fallon, the director of HARP that I was talking about. And, you know, he does talk about, you know, the first joint experimental results between Sura ionospheric heater in Russia and Chinese satellites. That's the Sura heater. That's the Chinese satellites. China's building their own ionospheric heater, like HARP. Ionospheric heater map available on ClimateViewer.org. China's Tianhe project Sky River will divert atmospheric rivers using undisclosed technologies, just like what I showed you with David Miles. Same thing with these guys, Climate Control Global Trading LLC, creates and steers hurricanes with ionospheric technology. Their claim, not my claim. They say they do it. They've got it on their website. For example, through our work was formed a cyclone Ashuba, which was transferred from the Indian Ocean to the coast of Oman. Let me translate that. They literally said that they were able to create Cyclone Ashuba and transfer it from the Indian Ocean to the coast of Oman, and which brought a huge amount of precipitation to the territory of the Gulf and the United Arab Emirates in particular. So when you have companies bragging that they can create tropical cyclones and steer them to the desert where all the rich oil tycoons live, the United Arab Emirates rainfall enhancement program has just basically blown the lid off of so much, because these oil barons and these rich desert countries, like I just saw in Monkey Works, he beat me to the punch. I was going to talk about it tonight. All the crazy weather going on in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is now trying to meet greening of the deserts. T. Oliver nailed it. I've previously shown that video. In fact, it's in the video that I was showing earlier on my YouTube channel. Nope, that's not it. But anyway, so China, United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, throwing all their money at weather modification. Russia, long story on them. They've been doing weather modification a very long time. So when you think about rich Arab nations bragging about using graphene nanoparticles, titanium nanoparticles, silicon nanoparticles for cloud seeding, United Arab Emirates using cloud seeding drones that with cloud ionizers on them, weathergenerator.net, Climate Control Global Trading LLC, Mateo Systems WeatherTech, all located in Abu Dhabi. Then all of the, new programs going on in Saudi Arabia. We literally have all of these countries doing massive weather modification projects. And this is no longer a butterfly effect. This is creating climate chaos. And of course, the climate cultists, the new green dealers, the wheelers dealers, the people who are making a buck off of making you believe you're the problem, they don't want you to know about any of this. They certainly are not going to bring up the fact that the Department of Homeland Security was trying to steer hurricanes starting in 2008. It wasn't even mentioned in either fact check. Not a single peep about it. Oh, there was this Project Storm Fury thing happened a long time ago. These people online, they're freaking crazy. Oh, there's no way anybody else could have interfered with weather modification technologies. No way that any weather modification projects could interfere with hurricanes. Fact checkers, you've been debunked once again for telling half-truths, for doing verbal ninjutsu, for trying to be just bullshitters. Now, I understand the point of trying to point out obvious factual errors, but when you do it and you don't do enough homework to properly explain the full truth and nothing but the truth, I'm going to be here to call your ass on it. So, to Hannah, let's just go up here real quick. Everybody, I want you to say hi to Hannah Hudnall. And she is, let me see if I can copy this address. What is it? Holy dog shit, Batman. That's a share link on Twitter. Okay, that's not her actual email. Anyway, everybody say hi to Hannah Hudnall, and I don't even think they even wrote who wrote this piece of crap. Okay, Robert Lever, AFP. You guys have been served. I mean, straight up, you just got served. So that is the whole truth. The whole truth is there are for Rob Lever and Hannah Hudnall. This just in. You're an idiot. Oh, Lord. But I enjoy pointing it out for all you beautiful Climate viewers. I appreciate everybody that tunes in, supports the channel. And since you're supporting the channel and you're seeing this live, look in the details, say recent podcast interviews. Go over there, say hi to Sam Tripoli. Go over there, subscribe to Jeremy. Excuse me. To Jeremy at End of the Parabnormal Radio. Go check them out. Subscribe to them as well. Sam Tripoli, also, you'll love his show. Great stuff. More on the horizon. I may be interviewing Dr. Shiva Ayudari in the near future. We're in the process of setting that up. Call in Sunday. Oh man, you're killing me. Like, dude, my painkillers are gonna wear off in just a few, and I mean we're coming up on 2 hours. Willie, I would love to do call-ins. I haven't done a call-in in a while. You're right. This is my go-to shirt for whatever I'm doing my debunking the fact checkers. So, you know, I'm gonna get more shirts. How's Dom? Dom's doing great. Dom's doing great. Dom has decided to stay in Canada. Dom is not coming to see me. I am very sad. But yes, Dominic Marama is staying in Canada, and he's pursuing alternative path, and I wish him the best. And I think he's gonna do great. Let's just put it that way. But yeah, I got an interview lined up with Dr. Shiva. We just got to nail down the date. And Topher Gardner, the one I was on Tinfoil Hat, we're going to try to set something up. So I don't know if I'm going to come on here. I'm going to have him come on here, or he's going to get over there. No, Dom did not get married yet. But there's Topher, and then what was the other one? Max Bliss. Max Bliss already agreed to do agree to do a live, Zoom chat on here. Here's the truth. I've never actually set a Zoom chat up before, but I've never tried anything that I could not do. So I will do it. I just want to be able to do a check before I go live and do, apparently, like, for me to do this live, I need a second webcam. So today I went and I hunted down my extra webcam, my old ass webcam, my Logitech C615 or something like that. So I have a second webcam. So that way, while I'm live, this camera, you guys will see me from this camera. But I don't want to be live with somebody on Zoom and them not be able to see me. And because Streamlabs Open Broadcaster is going to be using this camera, I need to have this camera set right here next to it on the monitor. That way, when I'm interviewing Max Bliss or Dr. Shiva, they have that webcam to see me seeing them. And I'm setting everything up as we speak. So I hope to be able to do interviews in the near future. I'm trying to I need to find somebody who's willing to be my crash test dummy. Tinfoil Hat is great stuff. Love the round table. Appreciate you, Diane. And yes, I'm going to get Max Bliss on here. He was supposed to come last week. And something came up last minute. So, and I'd already had the Maui Fire thing planned. I am married, for whoever is asking. Jim is married, my bad. Yes, I've been married 24 years, and I have a 13-year-old daughter and a 7-year-old daughter. My wife, Kelly, my oldest is Caroline, and my youngest is Emma. And since I didn't have a boy, I couldn't have a James Lee III. We named her Emma James, so we could name her after her father and my father. But yeah, I'm very lucky to have a loving, supporting family, and I'm the luckiest man on earth, because if it weren't for my wife, Kelly, who met me at my most masochistic, then I probably wouldn't be alive today, to be very clear, because I was very much abusing every drug that would come in front of me, all of that sort of stuff. And today I quit drinking alcohol when I was 19. I quit drugs about 10 years ago. Well, I quit all the hard stuff, like everything that was in front of me when I was like 22. But, I continue to, it's masochistic. It's a line from Kill Bill. It means causing self-pain. You never watched Kill Bill? Anyway, man, maybe I'm just old. I don't know. Everybody hasn't seen everything. There's Fallout Shelter. We have confirmation. Jay Hart, Fallout Shelter is alive. He is in chat. Big ups. What's up, dude? I'm glad you're okay. We're starting to get concerned about you. At Fallout Shelter is alive. There. We know it. Good to see you, brother, man. Hope you're doing well. Everybody subscribe to that guy too. That's an order. If you're in the chat, there's 172 of you watching right now, so you can't tell me you're not there. Click on Fallout Shelter, go to his channel, hit subscribe. We support our people. And when Mike Morales passed away, me and Fallout Shelter kind of gave each other virtual hugs to get through it. And we both did, online praying for Mike, and I will never forget that. So everybody say what's up to Fallout Shelter. Go over there, give him that, smash that subscribe button for him as well. And hit the like button here. So to recap, upcoming Max Bless interview, Dr. Shiva Ayadari, setting that up. Topher Gardner, at BioCharisma, absolutely stellar dude. If you listen to the Tinfoil Hat podcast that we just recently did, there will be a video of it in the near future. If you want to hold off till the video comes out, that'll even be better, because it's absolutely free. It's hilarious. You don't know Sam Tripoli is a comedian. Now you do. So I really cut fool when I get on his show. I've been on there twice, both of which were the most fun I ever had on OPP, other people's podcasts. So, that being said, lots to do, lots to come. I'm going to continue to move forward through this. Mark Daggett just shared, Mike and Shelly's, Shelly Morales is, Mike Morales' wife. We miss him. Y'all can support him at the link. He just dropped it in chat. And for those who want to support my endeavors, I am $1,400 into replacing my teeth. And to be quite honest with you, I have gotten about $4,000. That's why I altered the price of the campaign. So though the campaign does say currently raised $1,400, you can add another $4,000 onto that, which I've received either through PayPal or people mailing me directly. So let's just put it at that. That's full disclosure. So I'm less than half the way there, but right now $11,000 is the get in the door price, and it could be quite a bit more than that. And for those who are wondering, yes, I did put that at the bottom of the Give Send Go. You can see that there. There's my address, and that is also available on connect.climateviewer.com. If you come over here, it's right up here in the donate section. So there's a link to it. You can click on it. It'll take you over to there, and it has my address information. Totally self-serving plug there, but I'm telling you what, I need to be able to go back to mixed martial arts with my daughter, and I cannot do it with, basically this, these are all the teeth I have left in the bottom. And when this one breaks, which is going to break any day now, it's already painful enough. When that one's gone, I am screwed, and I will not be able to eat because I have absolutely no molars whatsoever, and I will be in extreme pain, and I will literally have to wait for the implants because I will not. Everybody's told me, hey, you're we hit 2 hours. It's every 30 minutes, so another ad pop up. Great. I will fix that. That will never happen again. It is a promise I make to you. No more midstream ads. Sorry about that, guys. Anyway, yeah, I'm in constant pain. So some days it's a 2, some days it's a 9. Migraines, all that sort of stuff. But the sooner I can get all of these bottom teeth removed and I just need two implants to be able to hold in a permanent denture, then I will still be able to speak. I will still be able to eat, and I'll be able to remove it whenever I go to mixed martial arts, and not worry about, losing the ability to talk, speak, or eat, because of one good punch. So there's that. But I'm only 46 years old, and I don't want to go straight for a, just a denture, because once that bone's lost, that's a permanent thing, and there's really no going back. Yeah, I know they say you can do like bone grafts and all that kinds of crap, but that shit never works and it never lasts. So anyway, like it says, if you go to the Give Send Go, you read it, you'll see how I feel about all this. It is very humbling. It is the hardest thing to do, to ask people for money, especially something as embarrassing as, oh yeah, I didn't give a shit about my teeth for the first 30 years of my life, and by the time I did, I can do jujitsu, but I'm telling you what, even in our BJJ class, people be throwing them bows. All right. You don't know what throwing them elbows. So like, you never know what's going to happen. And you can go look at the photo. It's a really nice close up, embarrassing AF, but basically the entire, what's left of the tooth has been, coated in poly, whatever. And it's literally one thump away from crumbling. So I'm unable to participate in BJJ, Muay Thai, any of that stuff. I want to be, I'm doing everything I can right now to try to get out of pain to get this thing done. And the other thing I want you guys, if you can't donate, please send your prayers, because not only am I doing this, I am quitting smoking cigarettes, and I am quitting sugar permanently. Starting tomorrow. Please, for the love of God, pray for me. I need this. Because on September 6th is when I have my dentist appointment, where they're going to take care of all the top ones. And I'm getting an actual consultation for the implants on the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and quit smoking cigarettes permanently. These yellow fingers too long. And, you know, going to be working my ass off to change my life. So I want to be buff AF and healthy for a very long time. My kids need me. My wife needs me. And as the sole provider for my family, that's what I'm going to do. So thank you for everybody tuning in tonight. That's enough about me. This was about the fools in the mainstream media trying to poop on somebody on freaking, you know, social media who didn't totally understand it and didn't use the wrong words. So they got the USA Today and the AFP fact checkers all down their throat. But you know what? The guy was 90% right. That's just bottom line. The guy was 90% right. And that's always the case. There might have been some technicalities incorrect, but now that you see the bigger picture, you know, with the Department of Homeland Security, Hurricane Modification Workshop, the monumental projects in China, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and America. Don't get it twisted. When you look at weather modification on a worldwide basis, the possibility of weather warfare, the undetectable nature of all of it, anything short of passing the Environmental Modification Accountability Act and creating sensors worldwide so that we know for sure that it was not weather warfare, the fact checkers are speculating just as much as we are. And that is the truth. Nobody can prove otherwise. With that being said, please use this information to attack ideas, nod people. I love you, mean it. Keep me in your prayers. See you on the next one. Video resonates with you, leave me a comment because I love hearing from y'all. First time here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell. Yeah! Remember, it would be impossible for me to do this without your support, so please join my Patreon or buy me a coffee on PayPal. And always, attack ideas, not people.